Did Pray for Paris solidify Westside Gunn as one of hip hop's top rappers?
I think it put him in the conversation. I think before he wasn't all the way there yet, but I think what he did with this album and the fact that he orchestrated it the way that he did, with all the features, the production, and then realizing afterwards for some people that he arranged it to be the way that it was, and the inspiration behind it, definitely puts him in that conversation.
I don't think that it did. I think it did more for Griselda than it did for him as a solo artist. I think that like it still put them like in another realm because whenever Westside Gunn makes projects, people always look for the songs with him, Benny, and Conway. And I think that like obviously like he's well respected, and I think that he deserves like a lot of respect for the things that he does. But I think that what that project did was it was like, all right, this is like another project that people will put like in the same conversation as Fly God. And it just like solidified like, okay, Griselda's real. Like they actually make quality projects, and that's what it did. I don't think that it made Westside Gunn like a star, or it made him in the hip hop world. I don't think that it made him like more like it gave him more notoriety.
I completely disagree. I think this did more for him than it did for the crew. I think, if anything, it probably set the crew back because it didn't make them a crew. They're not looked at as a crew anymore. Or rather, I won't even say set them back. I think it more so like very much stamped their individuality. So like this album stands out for his discography because it's such a big moment for him. And then now it makes people look at Benny's projects a certain way, where like what they're expecting from him. It makes people look at Conway to see what he's about to do. So like it very much stamped the individuality of Griselda and what they do. I don't think it set the palette for what they do, but it's the individuality. Now they look at Westside Gunn and they expect certain shit from his projects.
We'll just agree to disagree on that because when I look back at like Fly God, Pray for Paris, Supreme Billiente, 10, the Hitler Wears Hermes series. I feel that like Westside Gunn has been putting out quality projects. Those 5 obviously the Hermes, Hitler Wears Hermes, that's a series. But I just listed like 5 projects that he has, right? And like I could still ask some people like, yo, like, you know, tell me like a Westside Gunn verse or like, you know, something. And like they can't. Like, so that's what I'm saying, like it hasn't put him in that, it hasn't put him on like the same. He might have opportunity. Like I think he's respected amongst his peers, and I think that like it puts him in a lot of rooms with people that obviously like he can call Hov whenever he wants to and stuff like that. But like it didn't put him like on the same level like Freddie Gibbs. Like Freddie Gibbs was underground and he was able to like come up. I still think that Westside Gunn is still viewed as underground, and I love Westside Gunn, but I'm just saying for me I don't think. What I'm saying is, I don't think he gets enough recognition. I think he needs more. I think he needs to be celebrated more. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not shitting on him. I'm saying like I think people are missing it, and more people need to look.
He should be celebrated more, but then he walks the fine line of being Wale, where he talks about it more than he gives people the opportunity to praise him. So like you see how Wale will tell you like, no nigga, I'm nice. I just put this out, and that out. And they have a lot of similarities low key. They're into a lot of the same shit. And they wear their hearts on their sleeve with how they feel they should be appreciated.
Well, in Wale's defense, I think he's been fucked over a lot, and I think a lot of broken promises happen with him and his situation with the label. Whereas with and that's where Wale's frustrations come from, right? And you know how like he sees like there's favoritism amongst artists that are his peers. With Westside Gunn, he sees social media and like sometimes he goes on social media to defend himself. And like sometimes I think he goes a little bit overboard, but I think that's like his ego talking than him actually like trying to like analyze like, all right, like why is this being said about you know, why am I being overlooked? Why am I not being listed on these top lists at the end of the year?
I can absolutely picture Westside Gunn calling Complex to Black on them about their lists back then.
But you just proving my point. Like he's not being acknowledged when these end of year lists come up, and that's what bothers him.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying as far as like his greatness or whatever, like he's in that lane of working his way there. I just hope that, I just want him to stick to what he's gonna do, because it seems like he walks a fine line between wanting to be on those lists and not needing the acknowledgement. So it's like, all right, which one do you want to focus on? Because sometimes we hear from him, yo, I'm done. I'm just gonna focus on putting these Griselda projects out, and then he'll be like, nah, nigga, I'm dropping 10.
I think every time he gets in the studio, he gets the itch.
That could be possible. I could see that too. Well, that's evident, obviously. Yeah. Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today. Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
Today, let me see what shirt we got. As if the shirt don't give it away. Yeah. So we're getting into an album that came out right in the thick of it. Well, not even in the thick of it. It came out like right at the tipping point of COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Came out 2020, April 17th to be exact. Pray for Paris, Westside Gunn. It was his third studio album. At this point, the man had already released 24 to 25 projects. He's always dropping something. This album featured production from Duranger, who is like that's like his go-to. Beat Butcher, The Alchemist, DJ Muggs, DJ Premier. You got features on here from Benny, of course, and Conway. You got Joey Badass. You got Tyler, the Creator, Boldy, Freddie Gibbs, Rock Marciano, Wale, Joyce Rice. It's just a bunch of people on here. And I think they're all intricately placed. This album came when, like I said, COVID. But while he was putting it together, I remember him actually catching COVID and having to like redo some things or whatever. I remember the track list had leaked and everybody was like, bruh, he got Premiere. Like, it was just a big deal about this track list because of how well placed it was and how put together and all the people that he had. And Westside is not, I would say in a Griselda package, people don't really look at and regard him as the lyricist. They look at Conway as that guy. Yeah. And then they look at Benny as like being that voice. And then I guess what Westside Gunn has always been appreciated for is you can kind of look at him as like the Jim Jones of like having the ear and bringing the sound, but not like the strongest suit. But he's going to give you good music, good quality, at least from the squad. And he's like the unofficial A&R, you could say. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts when this album dropped? Like, did you run to this? Did it take you a while?
Damn, this merch is fire. I need to buy all of it.
Mm-hmm. And that was the initial thought?
That was my initial thought. I was so mad that the vinyl sold out so fast. I was
fucking
it did.
With it. It did actually, yeah.
But yeah, I was excited for it just because like I know that Benny Benny. I know that Westside is known for having really good taste. Mm-hmm. So I knew that we were going to get luxury raps. Mm-hmm. And I love me some luxury rap. I like rapping to me about some shit that I can't afford. Please, man. Like,
give me aspirations.
Yeah, give me aspirations. Make me feel poor. Make me question shit.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I just felt like, all right, this is going to be like great. What I didn't expect was for this project to come out and like rival as arguably maybe possibly his best project.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think like it's debatable, mm-hmm. but I don't think it's like clear cut like Fly God. Mm-hmm. But like I didn't think that because you gotta think like he had over 24 projects. He's put out Hitler, Where's Her Mess? So it just was like, what about this project? Like what about this time mm-hmm. was going to make it so good? And like it was a good follow up, and I think that that's actually really impressive.
Yeah, I think what was so special about this is how narrowed in the creative direction is, and it being fully inspired by his trip that he took to Paris, mm-hmm. even down to everything in it, down to the features, down to the names of the songs. of it being like just places he went. 327 is just called that because those are the New Balances he was wearing at the time. Like, Party with Pop Smoke is just the fact that he was literally at a party with Pop Smoke and he met up with him and they met in Paris and like caught a vibe out there. Like, so it's just things in here that he used as nods just to that trip. So like when you get albums like that are streamlined like that and that focus, it's hard for there to be fuck ups.
I agree. Like I like some people don't like it like when a rapper like does that is because I think that they like identify hip hop in a certain way. Like some people like hear hip hop and they're like it's about the struggle, it's about the gutter, or like some people hear hip hop and they're just like, oh, I want to hear storytelling, I want to hear that. And for me, like the first rap album that like I like bought and I understood, and I think I've talked about this, was It Was Written.
Yeah.
So like pretty much like that rap album was, if you really think about it, that was like luxury mafioso rap galore, right? And Nas, because that was when he was in his really like his Nas Escobar. So for me, when I hear like this luxury fly shit, I'm not thinking like, oh, I can't relate. I'm just like, oh, this is that fly shit. This is what you aspire to. If this is what you aspire to, like I aspire, like I get money, y'all gonna know. So I'm just saying, like I hear that shit and I'm like, give it to me. I will say this though. It took me a while to come around to the Westside Gunn party. Yeah. Because to me, he you know, kind of raps a little offbeat. And for me, like I love me some offbeat rappers. Silk the Shock is one of my favorite rappers ever. I don't think he's the best, but I love him. But I guess like what I expect from a rapper in this genre is to kind of like have like more of a flow, and I think I'm like spoiled by being a fan of like Biggie and Jay. So then when I hear somebody like Westside Gunn or like Benny, I just feel like I'm like, yo, like, are they not catching it? Like, are they laying their vocals and they just putting it on top? So it took me a while, but like when I started like actually listening to what the fuck they were saying, it made all the difference, and like it just made up for that. I just wanted to just be honest and like not say I've loved Westside Gunn from day one. No, it took. I like had to like sit down and make myself listen to him and like love his ad libs and like know like his references that he makes to Back Home in Buffalo, or like on this album, like this was his Seeing the World album, like he was traveling more and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I get that. I think for me, like the quote unquote like the offbeat rap, I don't know if it just doesn't register like that to me, because when I be hearing them, I get the pocket that they in. Like I understand it and I can kind of hear it more. And because the production is like kind of fine tuned to that. It's fine tuned for them to rap like that.
And I wonder, and that's something that I wonder if it's on purpose. I wonder if purposely, like it's like them like letting the producer know like, yo, I'm really gonna let you shine, and like not getting on beat, like because Bun B tells this really funny story that he did a song with Larry June, and he made Mike Dean put Larry June on beat, and Larry June was like, no, put it back. And he was like, you're gonna ruin it. And Bun B was confused, like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, you not on beat. Like, I'm trying to get you like on, and you know, Southern rappers are like really big on like riding the beat and like being polished. So I just think that that's funny, and I actually think that sometimes like it actually makes you like appreciate the production more. Like, and I thought about that when I was listening to a Bo D James project, and I was like, yo, this made me like I actually like want to find like a version of just Alchemist's instrumentals for that Bo D James project that they did.
Bo Jackson or Price of
Bo Jackson.
Tea? Okay.
You know I love Bo Jackson.
Yeah, Bo Jackson is really good. I think I see what you're saying, because for me, like, it was the Detroit sound, and I see the Detroit sound the way it's pouring over into like different raps and stuff like that. Like I was listening to a new Lotto song the other day. She dropped a remix to one of her songs with Cardi, and it's fire. And the way she's rapping on it is in this Detroit pocket, and it's just like, yo, like for Detroit to elevate its sound, and I hate to go on a tangent about this,
shit. Do
but for Detroit to elevate its sound, you need artists to acknowledge when they take those flows and when they borrow those flows in those moments from Detroit, because like every few years, people will say, yo, Detroit was doing this. Detroit did that. Detroit is responsible for this. Like, it get its shine as a city and for its sound, but I need the rappers to acknowledge it too. Or like the fact that I'm hearing Lotto rapping like on a Detroit type beat or in a Detroit bag, I need her to just say or pay homage in that way. That's the way for it to elevate.
I understand what you're saying because that's just like damn. I can't remember, but somebody like actually paid homage to E40.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the rapper, but like, and like he let it be known, like, you know, I'm paying homage to E40. So like, you know, like he made up a lot. He used a lot of like the lingo that like E40 does, because E40 like creates a lot of words and stuff like that, and it was pretty dope. Or like he didn't do a good job at it, but like when Pusha T had that song where he basically rapped like Mace.
Oh yeah. I liked it. I liked that one. With Kelly Rowland.
Mace is Mace, bro.
He sounded just like Mace. But I get it.
But Mace is Mace.
But
let Mace be Mace.
Or Yachty released Michigan Boy Boat. And that got critically acclaimed because he went to Flint. He was hanging in Flint. He actually met people there. Like it, you know, there's ways to pay homage. But
you ever noticed that little Yachty looks like he could be Mace's son?
I can see that sometimes. I see that a little bit.
Yeah, he look like a little Betha. And like he's from Georgia.
The way he speaks too.
Mace moved to Georgia around the time. Like you gotta think, and like if you think about it, when Mace started living in Georgia around the time Yachty was born, all I'm saying, bro.
He cooking. He cooking.
Man. Little boat is little Mace.
Little Betha. So on this album kicks off with 400 million plus tax. Which is a sample from the auction of Leonardo da Vinci's Salvador Mundi.
Yes.
And it sold for $450 million in 2017. And it set the record for the most expensive painting ever sold in the auction.
Yes. So with that being the opening, like I got like a lot of Only Built for Cuban Links vibes.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of like Wu-Tang, RZA, Raekwon influence right there. And I really like that part, because it set the tone for the project. You just like, all right, cool. Like this, I really like the fact that it was just like he encapsulated it just as a period of time in his life. So this project was literally based off of maybe like 1 to 2 weeks of his life, and I think that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like you have some rappers and like they're telling like multiple stories from like throughout their life. Nah, nigga, like you're a fucking rock star. Like give me 2 weeks of your life.
Yeah. 2 weeks of your life, and that's why like shit like Call Me If You Get Lost is so good, because that's like not even a full summer.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a trip. It's a trip that he took.
Yeah.
You know, and he reminisced on some shit, and it feels good. And I like when artists do this in general, where they just streamline their thoughts and just pick one thing and just make fucking magic out of it. And it works. So yeah, you got No Vacancy follows this up. You know, this is where they pick up on this this knack that they have for piano chords. That I feel like people have been making fun of them on Twitter recently for.
They have. I just think that like Westside Gunn is okay. I feel seen by somebody like Westside Gunn. Westside Gunn is a hood nigga. I'm a hood adjacent nigga. I'm not a hood nigga, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a hood adjacent nigga. I know what's going on in the hood. Who loves rap, loves wrestling, loves Marvel, and loves women with fat asses. Like I feel seen by this man. Like I feel like me and him would be friends. So when I'm listening to him talk his shit, even though sometimes like he kind of like he's like very arrogant and like always like feels like he should be number one no matter what.
That's the part that annoys me with him.
Right. Like that bothers me, but I also feel like this is something I can relate to. Especially I love his wrestling references.
Yeah.
Like
they're really good.
He does wrestling references like how Joe Budden used to do basketball references.
Yeah.
It's really good, and they're really spot on. If you're a wrestling fan, whenever he says certain things, like it actually makes sense. Like some people will say like corny shit, but like actually him and Action Bronson both do it very well.
Yeah, and Wale, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and Wale really, really shines on this album on French Toast, There's a track with him and Joyce Rice, and he
Mm.
makes multiple wrestling references in this love song.
Yeah.
He starts his verse off saying "too sweet." I think it's just such a untraditional love song, and it's so fucking good. But going back to George Bando features Conway and Benny the Butcher.
Who had the best verse?
The way Benny closes this out, I think, is like monumental for me when I was listening to it. But it might be Conway.
I'm going with Bernard the Butcher.
It might be Conway. You think?
Bernard.
Bernard. Y'all might be too young for that reference. But yeah, okay. So you going with Benny?
Yeah.
I think it's time for them to drop another collaborative project, just them three. But I think we're past that now. Probably we're past it only because now I think they're trying to be more intentional with what Griselda is. People still think Griselda is just them three, and now, but it's a label, and they have artists. They have different artists.
Well, I think that the problem is that Benny has a Def Jam deal, and right now, like obviously I think he got the contract, the money that he wanted, or the contract that he wanted. One of the two, like Snoop Dogg, like spearheaded that. But I really don't think Def Jam was a label he should have signed with. Like I get like the history, but the reason why I say that is because like right now, like there's a holdup on like what he's doing. And I think he's pretty frustrated. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Def Jam now is like breaking like new artists. And like Benny's not. I get that you could say he's a new artist, but he's not a new artist. Benny the Butcher is a seasoned artist. He needs to be treated like such and allowed to have the creative freedom to put his shit out whenever he wants. His fan base is his fan base, and I think that Def Jam doesn't understand that because of the management that's in there.
Yeah,
Def Jam is not the innovative Def Jam that we grew up knowing. So
no, it's not.
Now, you know, everything is about numbers and TikTok and shit like that, and he's a fucking underground rap artist.
Yeah,
like,
them niggas don't have. Yeah. They don't have a vice grip on anything right now. Yeah. I think, you know who I think he would have really shined on back in the day? Probably Interscope. He would have been really good on Interscope.
I think he would do good on Interscope right now, or I think that he would do good if he was working with Leo Cohen.
Is Leo still YouTube or 300?
He's at, so like he still has. Like he says that he like left 300 in Atlantic, and but him and Kevin Lyles are always going to be partners. That's something that like I fully like know and understand. Him and Kevin Lyles are forever partners, so like they always going to have like workings and dealings together. So they can say different all they want. Like nah, like those two like they always will work together, and it's such an odd couple because you would never think that Leo Cohen, this Jewish kid from like Southern California, and Kevin Lyles, this kid from like Baltimore, would become such like great partners, but like they work well, very, very well together. And I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen them together.
Leo Cohen and Kevin Lyles. I feel like I've seen them together.
I mean, I don't remember it. I always see them separately, but I know that they work very well together.
Okay, I'll probably Google that later. But 327, like I've referenced before, nothing, no big significant reason to the title except for the New Balances, but you got Joey Badass, Tyler the Creator, and Billy Esco on this track. If you guys recall, listeners, I did reference before that the ideal partnership or collab that I wanted to see would be Joey Badass and Tyler the Creator. I just think that they would make something so great together. I think Tyler could get in whatever pocket he gets into, that the artist gets into, that he works with. I just want to really just see an album that's produced by him. I think that'd be great. But this track is amazing. This track is really good. Joey Badass is fire on this. Everybody delivers on here. Tyler's verse is mad gay. But
it's the best verse, though.
Yeah, he has a really good verse. It's mad good.
Happy Pride Month.
Yes, very significant to the month, right? I think they had asked Westside about his verse, and he was like, "Yo, nah, he was spitting." Tyler asked me if he felt like he did too much, and I was like, "Nah, man, that's your life. Fuck it." And I just thought that was cool. Like he was just like, "Yo, whatever. Like you killed that shit. I'm putting the whole verse on there," and he did that.
He's an ally.
He's an ally. He is an ally. Who do you think? Well, no, I want to get into the next song also because I'm pretty sure you can like geek out because Wale is on here making references.
I get so frustrated with Wale. And I don't know if it's the people around him. I don't know what's going on, but I really wish that I had a significant amount of money to tell that nigga, listen, I'm giving you $10 million in this bag. You go in there, then I'm gonna get fucking Alchemist, I'm gonna get Hit Boy, and I'm gonna get Mad Lib, and we gonna make this album, and I'll give you one Just Blaze track. Like that's literally what I tell him, and I just be like, listen, like your features, I have to okay your features.
Yeah,
Rick Ross cannot be on this project with you. I love him and Ross together, but I don't want Ross is going to overshadow.
Ross takes him out of his element a little bit.
So like literally, like I'm just doing that. Like I Wale is so frustrating because this verse is so good, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a really good verse.
You hear it and you just like, yo, like why you be letting these motherfuckers take you off your zone
on this shit? Like his fucking references.
The references, if you can pull them up, but like I just think that I didn't write anything down for it because I just listened to it and I was just gonna be like, yo, his references were spot on and great, but like it's infuriating to hear how good he is, and then to know like, oh man, like Wale, like you know, he's just kind of like he's doing well. His life is great, I'm sure of it, but like I just wish that like he was a bigger star. I really think that he should be a bigger star than what he is, and it's really.
I don't know if you think it's too late.
Who, Wale? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's too late, especially now because like now hip hop is transitioning to a place where like artists can be like older and kind of have like a renaissance. So I actually think that Wale actually might reach that point where like he'll be able to just put out whatever the fuck he wants. I just wonder like if he's like not fully discouraged or anything like that.
Yeah, like literally all his references in this verse. I'm never gonna switch up the y'all Eric Bischoff, like shit like that, and like this is a love song. He goes, mine works for Virgil like DiBiase. He said, somehow I leave him open like a screen from Shaq. But at the end of this song is a Shawn Michaels sample that closes it out. Like, all right, I'll admit I'm no singer, but what I am is a showstopper, the headliner, the main event, the icon. Just picking shit like that to close out a love song is just... Wow.
I think like I said again, like there's just certain things like when we were kids and we would watch these guys, like they were like wrestlers, they were like our superheroes, and like they would get on the screen and like talk, and they would kind of like be able to give us confidence. So to actually be able to be an adult and like be able to like translate that into like regular life, because most people like tell you like, oh, wrestling's fake, why are you watching it, like it's make believe. It kind of like pretty much like shits on like a kid and like makes him like go like growing into an adult, and makes you like hide like what you enjoy and like makes you happy, and actually might give you confidence watching these men and you know pretty much go out and perform and like have like supreme confidence. Like
it's really cool though, like you said, like how Westside makes you feel seen. It's like shit like that is really important, man. Like fucking representation matters. Like you can't say that enough. And it sounds so cliche now because you hear it all the time, but it's true. Like when you see certain shit that like, because when you grow up and you get into certain shit and for some reason or another, you'll feel like you're the only person that's into this. Like I felt like when I was a kid that I was the only one, well, not the only one, but I felt like I was the only one watching wrestling in a certain way that I was. Or like that me and my group of friends were the only ones that fucking bought the WWF Attitude tape and played the instrumentals and had like a whole tournament on the block and shit like that. Like, and we had a fake belt and everything. Like we orchestrated a whole thing that we did.
And then you learn, like, when you see some of your groups of friends, like, because we did the same thing. We used to have hardcore matches and shit like that. We had fake belts. We used to break, in my building, we got in trouble for actually breaking the tables. And we learned later on that, oh, these tables, like, they're like sawed a little bit, so they break faster. We was really breaking the tables.
Shit like that. Like, we niggas was getting, man, we was creative as hell back then, man, because... and I actually told this story the other day to one of my friends from work where, like, if we was walking home from school, we would stop at the store to like get some drinks or whatever. We'll probably buy a Snapple back when they used to still be in glass bottles.
Oh, I missed that.
And then you walk down the street, when you finish a Snapple, just throw it up in the air just so it can break and do the Stone Cold music while you walk. And it was a whole thing that we would do.
Regg was a menace.
Yeah, man. We did all of that shit. It was just, and then when you meet other people that have this fascination like how you did, it's special. Yeah, and we're all like in the same age groups and shit. But I want to get into 500 ounce.
Let's do it.
500 Ounce features Rock Marcy and Freddie Gibbs, and is produced by The Alchemist, Uncle Al. This one sticks out on this album, especially at this point in the album, because the production is so different. It just jumps out. It's so different from what you've gotten on the album so far, because so far you got your go-tos. You got Deranger, you got Camouflage Monk, Beat Butcher, DJ Muggs. But then when this comes on, there's a switch up. And I think the album really switches from this point on. And it becomes like the intent, like the subject matter is still there. The focus is still there. But I think it's the 8th track in the album, but it just completely switches. I feel like we're on a bigger scale at this point.
We are.
Who you think had the best verse?
Rock Marciano.
On this, for real?
Yes. And I love Freddie Gibbs.
Okay.
I love Freddie Gibbs. Like, even through all the stuff that's going on with him right now on the internet.
Yeah.
I think that Rock Marciano had the best verse, and I actually think that Rock Marciano is the godfather of all this shit that the Griselda niggas are doing now.
Well, yes, that I won't disagree with. And in our past episode, we reviewed Rock Marciano's album, and we came to that conclusion as well. But I think Gibbs got the best verse on this. I think Rock kind of gets buried by the production on here. Like, his voice isn't as like loud. It doesn't stand out as much as Gibbs. I think Gibbs did a great job kicking this off. That shit just it's incredible. And I think at some point I want to revisit Alfredo, because him and Alchemist chemistry is just special as hell.
Yeah, it is. I think that they're like the new like Snoop and Dre.
I could see that as well. But Freddie can kind of get in that bag with a lot of people because he has that same kind of chemistry with Madlib.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
Freddie Gibbs took like a
He's
old
a chameleon.
80s movie, Dirty Cop.
Yeah, he does. He does. That's his humor too.
Yeah.
And then that takes us into Versace. Versace is produced by Jay Versace. Jay Versace, internet phenom, who like would always go viral.
Yo, remember that video with him and Freddie Gibbs?
Which one?
And Freddie Gibbs
when it was like he was like, "Yo, I want to send you some beats." Yeah.
And Freddie Gibbs was like, "You cool, man, but you weird." And he was like, "Man, why you always gotta call people weird?
Yeah, why you
can't just give me a compliment?"
Yeah.
He was like, "You weird." He was like, "Nigga, fuck you, I ain't weird."
Yeah, I remember that. It was like on live, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. I think what's so cool about Jay Versace is that, and he's leaning. I think he gets offended when people say it because they're like, "Yo, Jay Versace." Because I remember actually the other day somebody was like, "Yo, I'm just always surprised," blah blah blah, and then he retweeted it and was like, "Yo, what's so surprising? Like, I'm really curious. Like, what's so surprising about when I do shit?" But he has to understand how the perception of him on the internet at first. He was just this really jokey person that would do internet skits and shit like that, and people didn't take him that serious. So for him to completely switch up and not only do production, but do Griselda type level production,
Right.
was very surprising to people. Like he did a complete 180, and I mean, essentially he grew up in front of our eyes, so that's fine. But it was impressive, and he did share a story about Westside Gunn shared a story about how he got a DM from Jay Versace, and he was like, "Yo, I got some beats for you," or whatever.
He did.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was just like, yo, like, why Freddie had to be a dickhead?
Yeah. Yo, you cool, but you weird. So he shared that he had some beats for him, and Westside Gunn was like, "Jay Versace?" He was like, I mean, well, shit, send me something. And he sent it, and the first beat that he heard is this beat, and he rapped on it. And it said, and he said at this point he has about 30 to 40 tracks with Jay Versace that he produced.
Wow.
So at some point we'll probably get that. So no, Westside Gunn is not going to retire anytime soon. We're probably going to get those tracks at some point.
We will.
Claiborne Kick featuring Bodie James. Yes.
So
Yes.
the Claiborne Kick is Drew McIntyre's finisher. Where he literally runs at you and like he falls back and kicks you in the face.
Yeah. And this song is incredible. Bodie doesn't curse not one time in this verse from what I gathered from the re-listen. I was like, oh shit. Like this verse is so intentional that he wants you to get everything and there to be no takeaways from his verse, except for he wants there to be no distractions rather from what he's saying in his verse. Really, really good delivery from both of them. I like what Westside Gunn did to his voice. He's super different. The delivery is different. He kind of took his voice up a few octaves. It's really good. He follows that up with Sean versus Flair, which references their match, right? Wasn't that Ric Flair's retirement?
It's supposed to be.
It was
really
to be.
The reason. The references though basically like like this up and coming hotshot taking out like his idol. Well, I mean he wasn't up and coming hotshot, but Shawn Michaels was basically like the replacement of the new flashy guy in the wrestling business, and also seen as the bar for being the best wrestler ever. Like Ric Flair used to be that bar, and then Shawn Michaels came, and he was the upgrade. So like now, like a lot of like guys that come into the game say that I want to be the next Shawn Michaels, but before it used to be I want to be the next Ric Flair.
Yeah. Which is dope, man. I think to find a way to fit that into the fold of this album was really, really dope. And that would take us into a track that I referenced earlier, which was Party with Pop Smoke. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke.
Yes.
I have here that I love how intentional everything is on this album, which I said earlier, because he's really, everything ties into this experience that he had with Paris. And just imagine being this intentional on trips that you take and just going somewhere and just creating something that was inspired and birthed there. And then he has this album to kind of reflect on.
That's what we're gonna do when we go to Memphis and go to Elvis' house.
You gonna make an album inspired by what you saw at Elvis' house?
In Memphis, the whole city.
Okay, that'd be dope.
Yeah, we're gonna go hang out with John Morant and shoot our guns
on live.
Yeah.
We're
gonna go shoot our guns with John Morant. We're gonna go on Bill Street, and go to a jazz bar and listen to a BB King impersonator. Jerry the King Lawler has a bar, restaurant there. We're gonna go there and start a bar fight. Okay. And we're gonna go to Elvis's house and steal one of his capes.
And I'm a dance on a moving car with Glorilla.
Oh, see? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. So yeah, Party with Pop Smoke is another special one, and his way of showing homage to Pop Smoke, and it's a great song. It's not somber at all. It's still great. Like it plays out perfectly, and it's produced by Tyler, the Creator. Yeah. So
the song that was produced by Tyler, the Creator, was actually like a low point for me. I was actually disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with this song?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the highlight with Tyler is the song that he's featured on. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't that impressed with this song that he produced for Westside Gunn.
Okay. Yeah, I like this one a lot. But and I didn't even mention that Sean vs. Flair was produced by DJ Premier. And DJ Premier sent in this after he saw Westside Gunn's live. He was like, "Yo, are you done with the album?" And he said, "Yeah, it's done. But if you were sending me something, I'm gonna put your shit on there." And DJ Premier sent it and was like, "Bet." I just thought that was so cool that the nigga was watching his live and was like, "Yo, yeah, is this album done?"
Why is it so easy for DJ Premier to, like, no disrespect to Westside Gunn?
You about to bring up Jay-Z?
Yes. Why is it so easy? Why is it so easy for you to do that with him, but when it comes to fucking Hov, like, y'all schedules don't work? How does that make sense? I feel like it's some shit between y'all that we don't know about.
Probably.
And
that's not far-fetched.
They both be doing the who's more important kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because you're not gonna sit here and tell me that he could just hit up Westside Gunn like that and like he just be like, cool. Like Jay knows what it would mean to people for him and Premier to even do a song together.
But again. That's why. Because he knows.
He's a fucking asshole.
That's why he knows. That's why the nigga didn't start rapping on Black Republic until like almost 2 minutes into the damn song. He just likes to draw things out. That's all.
Yeah, bro. That's that Sagittarius shit. I don't like that shit.
But the album closer, can you say that?
No, nigga. You y'all know one thing I can't do. Y'all know I can't pronounce shit.
But
We can ask Siri to say it for us.
the album title is in reference to a restaurant in Paris which specializes in Senegalese and West African food.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he ate there. He had a great experience there. I think this was a great closer because this kind of just puts everything in just a nice bow.
It does. I think it's a great close because if I'm, that's how like you have a nice dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and then either you might go back to your hotel room or your Airbnb, and then the next morning you get up and go home,
Mm-hmm.
or you just get on the fucking private plane right after that. But like I just thought that was something. I think the highest luxury is the food that you eat. Like that's the most luxurious thing that you can do. What you eat, not your jewelry, not the clothes you wear. For me, like,
and most of the time, that's when you leave a city. That's what you remember from your trip is what you ate, how your food was. Because even when the fact that like you've been to New Orleans a couple times, like you've mentioned like what you ate and how that was.
Yo, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's some of the most luxurious shit that you can do. Mm-hmm. What you eat.
Yeah.
So when you go somewhere and like you do those things and have those experiences, that is more meaningful in my opinion than the things that like like jewelry and stuff like that. Like I get like how much jewelry costs, but like you eat some expensive food, especially like in Paris, like they got like snails and they got all that kind of shit out there. Like there's like a certain kind of like cuisine that's like only meant for rich people.
For you to
like there's certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like on 444 when Jay-Z was like, yo, I'm really feeding my kids liquid gold.
Yeah.
Like what? Like I just think I just think like he capped it off like really well. And a lot of people don't think about that when it comes to the food that they intake.
Yeah, that's a fact. But we say all that to say, of course, we do encourage you guys to listen to this album. Let us know what you think in the comments. Before we, I was just about to say, before we actually close this off, I want to end it off with what's your rating overall for this album?
This one was tough. I give this one, I feel like I'm on fucking streak. 4 out of 5 waffles. For this project. The production was precise. The sequencing was great. The features was great. The concept of the album was amazing. I would say that the weakest thing on the album is that Westside Gunn isn't like the best lyricist. Yeah. But he set the tone for this project.
You needed him.
Yeah, like you couldn't have done this album. Like this album couldn't have been made without him. And I think that it's impressive. Usually, if an artist makes like one really great project that's like hailed, like he did with Fly God, they can't repeat that. Like that's very hard, and they usually ride the coattails off of that. And Westside Gunn like actually figured it out and put this project out during the pandemic. So like I was really able to sit with this, and then even like the merch for it, like teaming up with Virgil and doing things, I thought that was really cool.
Rest in peace, Virgil.
Yes, rest in peace, Virgil. So I think that is really cool, and he pretty much embodied he embodied luxury rap on this project and did it to the T.
I'd have to agree with that. I even agree with that rating. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. He isn't the best lyricist, like how you said, but what he is really good at is orchestrating these really big events. He'll give you an experience with very, very intentional features and themes. And he's making his way up those ranks of having one of the best ears in rap. Yeah. I still think he needs a little more time, and like he doesn't need to focus on. I'd rather him focus on putting these albums together on his own and not necessarily having to put out albums himself. I do enjoy the albums, but
like on some DJ Khaled shit.
Yeah, just putting it, not even being like Westside Gunn featuring this person. I don't want his name on it at all. I just want him to put the albums together, actually just curate the albums. I want him to curate them, but he doesn't have to be like on some like what Rory just did, which was really good. But I just want him to be in the studio with people to help them put together their albums. That's all.
Okay.
But I do agree with the 4 out of 5 waffles. Like I said, let us know what you think. Rate, subscribe, get back to us. Leave it in the comments. I'm First Class Regg.
And I am Taurian B.
And we're out of here.
Boom, 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 boom.
We needed one of those.
Yeah.
Your fucking money.
Dun dun.